With the rationalisation of diesel subsidies, some industries claim that their cost of doing business will be affected. We ask Ideas Malaysia's Doris Liew for her views on how this economic reform affects industries across various sectors.
For industries that receive government subsidies, which has been announced, such as Budi Mandani and the fleet card system, the impact of the diesel price increase will be minimal. This includes some logistic companies and small agricultural businesses that benefit from these subsidies. On the other hand, industries that are not eligible for subsidies, which are the tipper lorry operators, which are relevant for construction, they will be significantly affected by the 50% increase in diesel price, which may potentially lead to increase in business costs and higher prices for consumers. However, while the food price increase may have minimal impact on property prices in the short to medium term, we need to be cognizant that some parties are exploiting the situation to engage in the profiteering practices. So although fuel costs may only amount for a small portion of their expenses, some businesses are planning to increase their prices by 20 to 30% or more, which are disproportional to the fuel increase.
Doris also weighed in on how the new diesel subsidy reform affects the property sector.
However, I think that the impact on property price is not going to be very significant. There's three reasons for this. First is the transportation costs represent a small proportion of construction costs, which are more influenced by the fluctuations in the prices of essential materials like cement and steel. Second, many construction companies outsource logistics firms that are eligible for the legal subsidy, so they'll already mitigate some of the increased costs. And third, housing market is driven by supply and demand. So Malaysia's property sales market index shows that the supply index has increased more rapidly than the demand index, resulting in property overhang, which is there's oversupply issues in the industry.
As a solution, she suggested for continuous engagement sessions between the government and industry players to better understand how diesel prices affect their businesses and find ways to ease their burdens.
The government seems to be quite hardline in clamping down on practices by monitoring and issuing warnings to the industry against price hikes. This tit for tat is counterproductive. Instead, the government should engage with the affected industry to work on an amicable solution, by understanding how diesel prices affect the industry, by how much, and if there are other cost-saving alternatives. So I think that this is part of the loophole of the policies that the government did not consider, especially for things like bus drivers, school bus drivers who face a significant increase in cost due to this policy. So I think that engagement with some of these industries is very much necessary for the government to chart its next course of actions, because the government also does not want some increases in the cost of living of affected parties as well.